So Amanda, if you're watching, I just want to say thank you for all your support. And he said, I'm devastated right now. The picture arrived and it's absolutely destroyed. Instead of laying flat, it was coned in like this. It literally looked like somebody took like a base or a sledgehammer and just pounded right into it, like where it coned up. Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully this is the last week I have to wear a hoodie and a knit cap, because it is the second Sunday in a row that after having a week long of 60 degrees, I'm sitting in another snowstorm in the lower 30s. It's still pretty chilly this morning. It's crazy. I can't believe this keeps happening, but I can't wait to do this show in a tank top and a pair of shorts. And I'm sure the dogs can't wait for that moment to come too. This week was an interesting week. A lot of interesting things happened. I can't wait to talk about them. Great sales week. Dealt with two different returns that have interesting stories with them. Also, we are approaching the last full week of Q1 2025. So if you have an eBay store and you haven't used your coupon yet for eBay supplies, make sure you go out this week at some point and use that coupon. Don't waste the free money. It's your benefit for having a store account. Make sure you use it. We have a lot to talk about with sales and things that happened in my business this week. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the numbers. This week we had an amazing sales week with a gross sales of 797, which was a net of 466 sales. My best sales day of the week was Thursday. Now, it wasn't the best in gross, but it was the best in what matters, that being net, which you will soon learn why. Thursday was a great day for me. And then number two coming in, Saturday, had a really strong Saturday with a 206 gross and 115 net. Friday was dead this week. That was my deadest day of the week. The rest of the week was pretty steady on out. Average gross per sale was $24.91, which left an average net per sale of $14.55. My net profit margin this week was above average at 58%. I really like that. And my average net per sale was 55%. Going through the top 10 sources by net return, the donated lot is number one again. I'm sure you can guess why. For those who missed last week, this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but the top five was dominated by donated 8x11s of George Lowe, who plays Space Ghost, autographs of his that I received from my brother, who received from a mutual friend. So Amanda, if you're watching, I just want to say thank you for all your support. I truly appreciate that you giving these to my brother and him giving them to me to go ahead and sell off. So really appreciated there. Sunglasses had a strong showing this week. Didn't take the top spot, but we sold a lot of sunglasses this week. Of note, you're going to notice that you don't see remotes on here. Last 2 weeks, my remote sales have completely tanked off. No remote sales whatsoever. I wonder if that's a coming out of winter. People are going outside and they're not staying inside listening to CD players, VCRs, TVs. And then sunglasses went through the roof. Maybe because it is, getting to that springtime and people getting outside and needing protection for their eyes. It's really interesting when you own a business like this to see what sells at the certain periods of time of the year. It's one thing I'm really enjoying about this. I did not go sourcing this week. I have a lot of inventory that needs to be listed. I have more than enough to get me by for a week or two, so I did not go out. So I spent $0 on sourcing this week. Cost of goods sold this week was $68.22. I paid eBay $115 in marketplace fees. I spent $149 on shipping labels. We continued our goal of 12 listings a month. Or 12 listings a day, excuse me, which was 84 new listings for the week. And we had right at the average of 32 sales this week. Average time to list something in my store this week was 1 month. Average time to sell something in my store this week was 3 months. I was able to pull out a 513% return on investment with an average return of investment per sale of 610%. Jumping into the top 10, number 10 is this Cabela's Outdoor Gear Men's XL Tall Button-Up Shirt. I picked this up for $3.80 at a St. Vincent de Paul's. It sold on eBay for $26.98. That was $19.98 for the shirt. $7 even for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.21, which provided me a net return of $14.35, which was a 378% return on investment and a 53% net profit margin. Number 9 sale of the week is this Masters Tournaments Men's XL PGA Tour Callaway Polo Shirt. Ever since I started getting into reselling, and especially watching YouTube eBay reselling, one thing that's always a common theme above everybody who shows you what they sell is anytime you find anything with a Masters logo on it, Masters Tournament, make sure you pick it up. This was the first item I ever found with the Masters logo on. I got it for $2.89 at a Goodwill. It sold on eBay for $27.10, $20 for the shirt, $7.10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.31. That provided me a net return of $15.27, which was a 528% return on investment and a 56% net profit margin. So if you're ever out in the wild and you see a baseball hat, a polo shirt, a button-up shirt, anything with the Masters Tournament branding on it, and you can get it for a reasonable price, pick it up. Number 8 sale of the week is this vintage Columbia men's XLT fleece-lined nylon bomber jacket. Now, before we get into this one, this is a prime example of, I got messaged a lot of questions about this, like, what is this, this, and this? What is this, this, and this? Some of the questions were answered in the listing, some weren't, but I was at a point where I had some time to answered the questions, and it resulted in the sale. I picked this jacket up for $3.84. It sold on eBay for $32 even. That was $22 for the jacket, $10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.67. It provided me a net return of $16.28, which was a 424% return on investment and a 51% net profit margin. Number 7 sale of the week. Also, I received questions about this one, funny enough, in chat. All my jacket sales this week ended up spawning from people reaching out to me via private message asking questions about it. This is a vintage members-only men's 2XL blue-lined bomber jacket. This is the second members-only jacket I've picked up in my career. I sold, I believe, either a tan or a gray one a couple months back and made a really good profit off it. I picked this blue one up at a Salvation Army for $3.88. It sold on eBay for $34.40. That was $20 even for the jacket, $4.40 $14.40 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $8.78, which provided me a net return of $17.22, which was a 440% return on investment and a 50% net profit margin. And the number 6 sale of the week is this Adidas Golf's men's 2XL blue-white striped moisture wicking performance polo. I picked this shirt up for $2.57 from a local Goodwill. It sold on eBay for $30.08. That was $22.98 for the shirt and $7.10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $5.31. That provided me a net return of $18.36, which was a 714% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. Number 5 sale of the week is this Ohio State Buckeyes men's XL champion hoodie. I picked this hoodie up at a Goodwill for $2.74. It sold on eBay for $31.98. That's $24.88 for the hoodie, $7.10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item, $5.31. That provided me a net return of $19.64, which was a 717% return on investment and a 61% net profit margin. Number 4 sale of the week is this George Lowe Space Ghost autograph, 8.5 by 11 print. For those of you, again, who have never watched the show, don't know, a friend of mine and my brother's donated to him a whole bunch of movie memorabilia and TV show memorabilia. And my brother, once he got it, obviously didn't have room for everything. So he gave me a lot of stuff to sell on eBay. And in it was a stack of these George Lowe autographs. Last week, I sold quite a few of them. The week before that, I sold one. So I've been selling a lot of these the last couple weeks. And last week I was like, yeah, I don't know what's going on. And thanks to you guys in the comment section, you guys clued me in that sadly George Lowe passed away at the beginning of the month. And that's why these are going. And that's why I've been selling so many of them. One of the ones I sold last week got delivered to the customer, and he sent me a message, and he said, "I'm devastated right now. The picture arrived, and it's absolutely destroyed." Now, I shipped every single one of these between 2 thick pieces of cardboard, wrapped that in bubble wrap, and then put it in a water-resistant poly mailer and sealed it off so it couldn't get water damage. And then on each side of the package, I have a fragile handle with care. And this gentleman sent me pictures with the message that it was destroyed. And I don't know what USPS did to it, but the only way I could describe it, it was like they put it on top of 2 spread cylinder blocks and then took a baseball bat and just rammed it down between the middle of them, where it was, instead of laying flat, it was coned in like this. It literally looked like somebody took like a base or a sledgehammer and just pounded right into it, like where it coned up. And I couldn't believe it. I felt so terrible as soon as the guy messaged me. Luckily, he sent me pictures, 5 pictures, to say, "Hey, this happened." He didn't ask me for a refund or anything like that. He was just like, "I'm devastated that USPS destroyed it." I decided that this was enough, and before even responding to him, I initiated a full refund to him. I refunded him his money. I apologized profusely to him. He's going to see if he can iron this one out, frame it without ruining it, but the picture had creases through it. You know what I mean? The autograph is still good. It's still a picture, but it was definitely creased. And I asked him if he could send me more pictures of like the packaging and like everything like that, and the like close-up pictures and everything. And he provided me with that. And then this week I went on and I filed my first damage package claim with USPS. I did that last Monday. They have not responded me back to you yet, but I will keep you guys posted on that, because this is the first time where I've finally said enough is enough. And I've lost hundreds of dollars to USPS destroying packages, and I've just ate it over time, and I'm done eating it. So now anytime there's a destroyed package, I'm not messing around anymore. I'm literally just going to refund the customer. I'm going to tell them to keep it, ask them for photos of the damage, and then I'm just going to file a claim with USPS. And I should have done this months ago. When they destroyed a vintage stereo on delivery that was packed supremely well, but then like they just absolutely destroyed it in transit. So yeah, I'll keep you guys abreast on that. But anyway, back to this product. I obviously got this for free. It sold on eBay for $34.30. That was $28 even for the autograph, $6.30 for the shipping. One thing I would like to point out is, even after getting the information that George Lowe passed on, I then had a choice where I could say, oh, I could go and raise all my prices on these pictures and capitalize on his death. And I chose not to. I specifically chose not to because I think that's kind of scummy if you're going to capitalize on somebody's death. And I understand that the death raises the price of the autographs. I didn't pay for these. These were donated to me. I'm not trying to swindle people. I'm actually trying to sell a fair product. And that's obviously going to play in here in a little bit. So $28 for the picture, $6.30 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship the item was $4.14, which provided me a net return of $24.85. And the number 3 sale of the week is this another George Lowe 8x10 autograph. Literally the exact same information, same price. I sold it on a best offer of $28. There is going to be a story about this one real quick, but we're going to move past it for now. The number 2 sale of the week are these Skechers Athletics size 12 memory foam sneakers. These were brand new, and I picked them up at a Goodwill for $2.80. They still had the tags on. They sold for $45 even on eBay, which was $35 for the shoes and $10 for the shipping. Actual cost to ship this item was $7.16, which provided me a net return of $28.31, which was a 1,011% return on investment and a net profit margin of 63%. The number 3 sale of the week, the George Lowe autograph I sold. I got a message about it beforehand. My rule on this, when I listed them all for $34.98, and I started doing this back last September. As one would sell, I would list another one because I didn't want to flood the market with autographs. I wanted to make sure there was a limited supply out because I knew people would want to drop it. But the rule I created internally for me, that the least I would accept on these is $28. And some of them have sold for full price. Some of them have sold for $28. As I was going through the week this week, I obviously sold one, the number 3 sale of the week. I sold that at $28. And then a day later, when I posted the new one, it was literally hours after I posted the new one, I got an offer for $24 for it. So they wanted $10 off, and I replied back, and I literally did what I tell you guys to do whenever you get a lowball offer. Reply back with a reasonable offer and just say, hey, this is the lowest I'm willing to go. And I did that. I've been doing that with these George Low because I don't want to haggle with over these prices. $28 is the lowest I'll sell it for. If you would like it for that, it's yours. If not, fine, no big deal. We'll separate here. He accepted the offer, but as I talked about at the beginning of the show, I have been seeing in the last 2 weeks an increased amount of people accepting an offer but not paying, like letting it sit for 3 days. Now, even after it sits for days, sometimes they will eventually come back and pay for it, but I'm having a lot of accepted offers go unpaid. Either they send me an offer and I accept it and they don't pay it, or I send them an offer, they accept it and don't pay. It just sits in pending, which I think is really weird. Well, the next morning, a guy reaches out to me for that one because when you don't pay, if you accept an offer but don't pay, the item is still listed and somebody can come in and buy it right away, right out from under you. And somebody came in and offered me $25. And I was... I did this. I literally messaged him back and I said, I gave him a $28 offer. I said, hey, I'm going to be real with you. Somebody already accepted a $28 offer on this, but they haven't paid yet. I'm going to offer it to you for $28. If you want it for that price, great. If you don't want, if that's too much for you, I completely understand. No hard feelings. But if you do accept it, the first person to pay gets it. And instantaneously, as I sent the message, he accepted the offer and he paid within 30 seconds. But I'm curious to know if you guys have been noticing people not paying right away when offers are accepted. If you have, leave a comment and let me know, because I am really curious, because now it's happening like 7-8 times a week and it's starting to be like, hey, this is really, really weird. And I'm just wondering if anybody else is seeing that or if this is just a just me thing. I don't know. But anyway, so that guy buys it. That guy buys the picture for $28, and then he messages me instantly. And you never know where an instant message is going to go when you get something from somebody. And he said, hey, I'm going through your store and looking at the rest of your inventory, and I'm just wondering, do you have anything else that's autographed by famous people? I am an autograph collector. He's like, that's what my passion is. And I assumed his question was a different person. So currently, I didn't have any autographs listed. However, I still did have a couple George Low autographs sitting in the background. And I told him, no, I don't currently have any autographs from any other celebrities that are listed. And he said, okay, thanks, no problem. About an hour and a half goes by, and he messages me back, and he says, hey, I just noticed you've sold like 15 George Low autographs in the last 3 weeks. Do you have any more George Low autographs? And I responded back and I said, well, actually, yes, I do. I said, I don't know exactly how many I have, but I know I'm getting down to like the final 5. I know I only have a few left. And he goes, can you let me know how many more of these you have? I'd be really interested in them. And he then proceeds to go on to tell me that he is a big fan of Three Stooges and Space Ghost. Like growing up, those were his 2 favorite things. His hobby, his collection, his passion is collecting celebrities' autographs from everything, but specifically, he really has an infinite for Three Stooges and Space Ghost, with Space Ghost being his favorite cartoon growing up, and George Low being one of his favorite people, and obviously with his passing, he was really upset. And he's like, yeah, I want to collect as many signatures as I can. So I came out and I had 4 left. And I said, since I got these back in September, I was going to keep 1 for myself. And each one of these are all like generic promotional autographs where he says like, greetings TV viewer, or greetings watcher, or greeting. He always does a funny greeting. Then he writes a funny message like, I can't believe you burnt my toast last night. Love, Space Ghost. And then on all the sides, he always puts a snack tip, like snack tip, crackers with Jello. You know what I mean? Like something like that. Then he autographs it, Space Ghost, George Low. And these are all from 2004. So I decided I want to keep one because I had 4 left, and I kept the one that I wanted to keep. And then I went and pulled the other 3 out, took a picture of them, and I sent him a DM. I'm like, yeah, I have 3 more left. If you're interested, I said I can make a listing and we can work out a deal. And he said, I'll take all 3 of them. And I told him, hey, you initially came at me with a $25 offer. I countered with a 28. You paid for it. I haven't packaged that yet. This is literally only an hour after his purchase. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, if you're going to buy all 3 of them, I'll make a listing for $25 even, free shipping. And I said, I'll pack these with your other one and we'll just ship it all in one shot. He said, do it, made the listing, went to go. And we sold the remaining lot of 3 George Lowe Space Ghost autographs. They sold on eBay for $75 even, with free shipping. Actual cost to ship this item. What I did was I took the cost to ship the first item, what he paid for the first item, what he paid for the second item, and then I just divided it by 2. So the cost to ship on this one was $2.28, which provided me a net return of $63.24, which was an infinite return on investment and an 84% net profit margin. And that concludes our top 10 sales of the week. Like I said, it's been an interesting week all around with different DMs reaching out. And I'm seeing a lot more random direct messages where they ask you a bunch of questions that are actually resulting in sales. I have been seeing that go up. So, I mean, there's just another chalk in the hat too. Sometimes it stinks to have to respond to all the messages, but if you do it, it's going to lead to sales in your pocket and lead to sales and money in your pocket. But I am really, really genuinely curious about the accepting offers, because let me give you a prime example. This morning, I woke up, and again, by the grace, 2 weeks in a row, I now have 2 mail bins right here that are filled to the brim with inventory that I sold from yesterday till this morning. And I ship on Saturdays, so I had, by noon yesterday, I had no packages left in my outgoing mail. My mail lady came, picked them up, and now I have not just one mail bin filled. I have 2 right now because Saturday was such a great sales day. But I'm curious. This morning, I accepted 3 offers that sellers sent me, and that was probably an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. Not paid yet. And if indications are these either are not going to get paid or they're going to get paid for like in 3 days. And I'm just curious, is anybody else seeing this uptick as well in their stores? Just want to know. I'm super curious. Please leave a comment down below. What was the other big thing I want to talk about? Oh, something that's really been bugging me on eBay this week is, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I actually did reach out to the Flipwise Discord and ask, and I know I'm not the only person seeing it, but when you want to do a sell similar on an already sold item, the sell similar button is grayed out. So hypothetically, say you have a Polo Ralph Lauren shirt, blue striped. You go to do your sold comps, Polo Ralph Lauren, blue striped. And then you switch it to the solds and you find the one that matches yours and you want to just hit sell similar, go in and change the details. You can't hit the button on solds. If I go for the ones that are listed, that are actively listed, sell similar still works. And this was bugging me for a couple days. I thought it was like a bug or a glitch they were going to fix real quick. I don't know if eBay just is getting rid of it. The sell similar button's there, but it's grayed out and it won't let you do a sell similar. Reached out to the people in Flipwise Discord, and I was not the only person seeing it. Other people were seeing it. So if you didn't know that, I hate to rain on your parade if you haven't done a sell similar on a sold item recently. That function's currently not working on eBay. I hope they fix that really quickly, because that's a feature that I use quite often. I did, however, find a workaround to it. If you do the sold comps, you can go to product research, or TerraPeak is what it used to be called, but now it's called product research, and then make the parameters the last 3 months instead of 3 years. Find the item that matches the one that you were looking for, and you can do a sell similar from product research. That's the way around I found that. So if anybody else has been experiencing it and been like, man, this stinks, I really like making listings off of already sold items, because I do. That's my favorite thing to do, is if I have something that's already sold, I just want to go and rip the listing that's sold, because that listing sold for a reason, and it probably just needs some minor tweaks on my end. The way you can get around that is by going to product research. Other than that, I'm so ready to like figure out how to smoothly file claims with the post office. And if you've ever had to file a damaged package claim with the post office, it is not user friendly. Their claim process is just an application form, which you think would be easy, where you fill out all the information and then you have the ability to attach images. Here was the problem I was having. I would attach all the images. I would go to either save or review, and every single time I would do it where images were attached, the server would crash out. It wiped my claim application, and I had to start from the beginning. And then I did it again, where I kept doing this over and over for like an hour, slamming my head into a wall. And then I'm like, being as I'm in a tech engineering background, I was like, I bet USPS doesn't have the bandwidth to accept all the pictures, and it's trying to load up the pictures and just crashing out. So I went in and I put one image in at a time, and I put a total of like 10 images in, and I would save it. And then I went to review, and it saved when I did it that way, when I did one image at a time. And then when I went to review document, and then it would try to upload all of the images at once, it would crash out. And I'm like, dang it. But it would save my progress on my application. It just wouldn't let me put it in. So what I did was I wiped all the images off of it, and then I just submitted it again. And I was like, hopefully maybe I can go back in and edit the submission and then just individually, one by one, add the official claim, the images to the claim. And I don't know what happened, but after I submitted it without images, I went back in to look at my claim and all the images were attached. So there is a lot of glitchiness and bugs to that USPS filing a claim on a damaged package. And if you guys have any tips or advice on how to file a claim or better ways to use that website, please let me know, because I'm old school when it comes to USPS. I've always been, I just call and talk to a human being, which is a nightmare to try to do, because you have to talk to a robot for 30 minutes who's like, can I talk to somebody in customer service? I understand you want to talk to somebody in customer service. Before we do that, can you give me a brief explanation of what's wrong? And I'll say damage package. Oh, we heard you say sent to wrong address. It's like, no, that's not what I said. I just have a customer service rep. So that was a nightmare. So I wanted to go and I wanted to try doing it through the website. Any issues, I want to try going through the website. And I'm curious to know if anybody's got any tips or tricks when filing a claim for damaged or lost package, how to make it go smoother, because man, that process was a nightmare. Other than that, I don't think I got any other big news going on. I do think come the end of the month, I'm probably going to switch to 8 listings a day instead of doing 12 listings a day. I want to free up more time for other things going on in my life, mainly college. But I know one thing I can tell you. This week, since I started doing the eBay reselling, it's really made me think about finances and investing a lot more. About 4 months ago, I made the plunge and I opened up a high yield savings account, and I have been putting a percentage of all my eBay profits into a high yield savings account to have my money make money there. This week, I decided I was going to start getting into day trading, and for the first time ever in my life, I'm like actually playing the stock market and like trying to figure it out and learn that. Like, I've had stocks before in the past, but I never had anything to do with them. I just paid a guy to do it. Now I'm trying to learn that. That's another thing I'm trying to learn on top of the eBay selling. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out how my money to make money for me, so I can, retire at a reasonable age one day. Preferably, I'd like to build a house and insulate this whole garage. If I build a house, I'm pretty much going to turn this garage into my eBay mecca, because I have a lot of stuff that's designed to go into a house, like a refrigerator, washer and dryer that's just taking up a lot of space. And if I built a house and moved all this stuff into that house, then I could have the whole garage and more room for eBay activities. So, yeah, I'm trying to figure out this how to make money thing really well, and to where I can start knocking some things out. And hopefully, as I go through on in that journey, that's something cool that you guys can watch go along. Other than that, I got nothing else. I'm cold, so I'm ready to get inside and start editing this video. I know the dogs are too. Boots is right here on my lap, and Boots rarely is like, Dad, can we just go inside? Here we go. She loves spending time in the garage. So yeah, I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you guys have a great week to come. And remember, no matter what happens, I will see you guys next Sunday. Have a great week, everyone.